Everything's going all right, so Anna's in here ironing and I'm playing the piano.
Traditionally, the bride does not let the groom see her the entire day of the wedding. Anyway, so we're going to be getting pictures taken before the wedding. That way we can see each other, we can be together, and we'll be able to leave faster.
You guys seriously haven't kissed?
For real?
Seriously, for real, we have not kissed at all. Making sure that we're on the same page as far as getting it prepared and being ready for it. So.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. It's Thursday, Friday, May 12th. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Listen, it's a bit of a busy week, and there's been a lot of Duggar coverage, and I promise you that we'll get back to the sister wives and everyone else, but a lot's been going on, a lot to talk about, a lot to dissect, and a lot of answers that we're getting. So today we're going to talk about how Anna Duggar wrote a letter to the judge, and we are going to thank the sources that I work with Without a Crystal Ball to consistently giving me great insight into what's going on with Anna, because her letter to the court seemingly proved what my sources have been saying for months, and that is that Anna is standing by her husband and that she fully believes in his innocence. We'll get to the story, but before we do, make sure that if you haven't given this video a thumbs up, do that. Please give that a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure that you do. I keep getting messages from a bunch of you that YouTube is unsubscribing you. I don't know what's going on, but make sure you double check to see if you are subscribed. And if you're one of the people that YouTube tells me is watching and not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, turn those notifications on, and then you'll always know when I post new content. And leave me some comments, please, about this topic. If there's something that you feel is compelling about what we're talking about, or your opinions, I'd love to hear them. Always be gentle and kind in the comments. So for the last several months, I have been telling you that Anna is standing by her husband, and there's been a lot of stories. Is Anna divorcing him? Is Anna pregnant? Is Anna going to leave him? Is this finally going to be the end? And sadly, no, it's not. I'm starting to realize the more and more time I spend in the story that the world around the Duggars is not one factually based in facts. There's a lot of misdirection, it seems. There's a lot of ignoring really big truths, diminishing or dismissing things that happen, and looking at gifts and looking at financial stability and looking at their godliness as a way to distract from everything that's been happening with Josh. So Anna has 7 kids with Josh, and now she is begging the court to let her husband come home. Yeah. So her letter, which was dated on March 7th, says this: I'm writing regarding my husband, Joshua Duggar, who will come before you for sentencing. As his spouse of more than 13 years, thank you for taking the time to allow me to share about the man I know and I love. Joshua and I met nearly 16 years ago. As our friendship grew over the next 2 years, I saw what I know to be even more true today, that Joshua is considerate, respectful, quick to forgive, patient, and genuinely the kindest person I know. We were happily married on September 26, 2008. She starts off right off the bat praising him. No indications about any of the issues that came up in 2015 with Ashley Madison. Let's see if she digs into any of this or if she continues on this track. She said this: during the first few years of marriage, Joshua and I enjoyed working together at our used car lot in Springdale. There, I admired my husband's diligence in his work and also his perspective that people are more important than a quick sale. Joshua would often spend hours out of his day chatting and listening to various homeless people who would pass by on the sidewalk. And many of our customers also became our friends. It didn't matter who you were or where you came from. Joshua cared for each person because they are created in the image of God, and that is what determines their value, not social status. Okay, so what I got from that is that Joshua at work talks to some people that are without a home, and apparently he is kind to his customers. That actually sounds kind of like the bare minimum, but that's just me. Now let's see what she has to say. Joshua has worked hard to provide for me and our now 7 children. But the happiest part of a day by far is when Daddy comes home from work and his cheerful voice fills the house. Hi guys, how's it going? What did you learn about in school today? And usually the conversation starts in between greeting each of our children. Joshua is an engaged dad who gladly throws a football with his sons, listens to our daughters play a new song they have learned on the piano, helps answer homework questions, and lends a hand sweeping up spilled crackers. Okay? He is a kind, loving, supportive, and caring father and husband, his primary focus in life. So far, what I've heard is that Josh is a good worker who speaks to people who are homeless, who is nice to his customers, throws footballs with his kids, sweeps crackers, and financially supports the family. Nothing yet addressed about anything that's happened. And it says, my children and I rely on Joshua for financial, emotional, and physical support. Many others depend on Joshua too. Joshua is a man who frequently volunteers his time, services, and resources, striving to contribute to our community and people in need. So she needs him to work. Like right now, literally what I'm hearing a lot that's coming out of her is that she and her kids need Josh because he supports them. Next, she talks about Clark Wilson. 4 years ago, one of our good friends, Clark Wilson, passed away at the age of 57. Joshua took it upon himself to financially support his widow, Denise, and the children they still have living at home. For the past 4 years, Joshua has quietly and faithfully made significant financial contributions to meet their needs. This was not because we had excess income, but because Joshua had a compassionate heart and is willing to make personal sacrifices for the benefit of others. Okay? So he helped Denise. Next, she quotes Ronald Reagan. Joshua embodies the quote from Ronald Reagan. There is no limit to the amount of good you can do if you don't care who gets the credit. Joshua is quick to step in and do whatever he can to be a team builder and help others accomplish their goals without ever needing to receive recognition or praise. She really literally compared him to Ronald Reagan. Like, I'm not even a Republican, and I will say that he is definitely no Ronald Reagan. Next, Joshua sees the best in people and is willing to walk alongside them and help them make their dreams a reality. Several years ago, a man named Tommy stopped by the car lot. It was shortly after a snowfall. Tommy was looking for work and asked if he could earn some extra cash by doing a quick wash on each of our cars on the lot. Joshua quickly noticed how thorough Tommy was and asked if he had been willing to come by each week to wash our cars. Over time, Joshua offered to help Tommy get set up in business and recommended some of our car dealer friends use his washing services as well. Before long, with Joshua's help, Tommy was able to purchase a truck and some equipment of his own. Tommy hired a few employees and was soon running a successful small business. It felt good knowing my husband saw something in Tommy and that he had inspired and enabled him to go for the opportunity to better provide for his family as a small business owner. We continued to use Tommy's washing services for many years. Thank you, Your Honor, for taking these thoughts into consideration. Joshua is surrounded by people who will encourage him to continue to become the best man, father, and employer he can be. I ask that you consider reuniting us as a family again soon. I understand the seriousness of this matter. However, I respectfully ask that you take this letter into consideration when determining a fair sentence. Anna actually didn't really say a lot about her relationship with Josh. She didn't talk about whether or not she actually has a connection to him. She didn't talk about any of the infidelity. She did not bring up anything to do with the Ashley Madison where he was unfaithful, where he had to go away in 2016. She didn't talk about how there was a woman that was in Pennsylvania that made these horrible made really big claims against Josh. She didn't mention any of that. She didn't even really talk about their relationship outside of the fact that he financially supports her and he's a kind guy and that someone that goes out of his way to help other people. What kind of concerns me here is that with Anna, she's not looking at the big picture. Like, it seems like she needs Josh financially. She knows she needs Josh financially. And a lot of her messages to the court are about how Josh financially helps other people. He helped Tommy get a business. He gave money to Denise. He goes through steps to go out of his way to help people. Anna's letter is very odd to me because in Anna's letter, and I recognize that her job is not to discuss what he's done, but it's to show the judge that he's not just a one-dimensional person that has way more to his life than just what he's done. But in the same token, the way that she describes what he does for people, it almost feels like it's a manipulative tactic to go out of his way to help people, to appear like a really good person. I think a lot about people that are like sociopaths or individuals that you hear about on these true crime documentaries. You never hear about people that are bad people doing bad things. It's always the person, especially in cases like this, where it's someone who is heavily involved in the community, has a high desire to be around children, who will go out of his way to help other people. They always talk about how with these types of situations, it's not just a grooming of the child, but of the whole family. For Josh, I think in one breath, there's this aspect of him wanting to gain access to maybe the kids, but in the second breath, it's like, you know, if you appear to be a very upstanding citizen, that can be a way to hide behind your facade to do the things that you want to do. So you don't get away with things for this long without having a good public persona. You don't get away with this kind of behavior for as long as he has, unless you have attributes that make you difficult for others to see the bad, especially people that might be enamored with fame or the money. In a lot of the letters that I read, I heard a lot about how Josh financially supports people. And part of me thinks that the financial support comes with strings. You know, you look at someone, they have a need, they need money, you give money. When you give money to someone, do you think someone ever really it's hard after someone's given you a gift of something to think of someone as bad. What? My neighbors gave me a gift. That's so kind of them. They went out of their way to help me. They could never be like that. Every time you watch one of these shows, it's always the next door neighbor that's like, they were the nicest people. They never were like that. I can't even believe it. The fact is that not every single person is all good and all bad. And a lot of people use a way to blend in to do what they want to do. Josh might have good attributes. He very well could help people connect things. In fact, I talked to a source today that flat out told me Josh is the kind of guy that connects people, that does things with people. If someone new comes in, he'll help them find a job, he'll help them find friends, he'll help them find a church. He's just that kind of person. But, and my source said it's very uncommon to have a negative interaction with Josh if you ignore everything. If you start to actually look deeper than the surface and you realize his history, then some of the stuff that he does almost comes off a little bit creepy of how into people's families he wants to get and how over the top he can be about some things, and his willingness to go the extra mile feels manipulative if you look at it from a deeper level. That's what my source said. For Anna, I don't think she wants to go to the deeper level. I think for Anna, this is about financial stability and money, and I think she doesn't think that she can support herself without him. I mean, I didn't hear in her letter one iota about the children that were affected in this case. All she said was, I understand this is a serious matter, but please bring them back to me and my kids. Not even considering the fact that her kids are at risk around him. Do you think that given her inability to objectively look at the big picture and really critically think here, that she could simply overlook things that he's doing because he's doing things for her that she thinks are happy. I feel like Anna is so far in that she doesn't know what's up or down. She doesn't know what's left or right. She doesn't know the truth. I feel like Anna lives in an alternative reality where Josh is her knight in shining armor, and he might have only ever shown her his good side, although he cheated on her a lot. I don't understand how she can ignore that. How do you ignore that your husband cheated? How do you ignore the crimes? How did you sit through all of that evidence and come to this and say, I need Josh at home because I need financial support? So that's Anna's letter. Anna is still standing by him. She never said that he was innocent, but I don't think you would write a letter like that and ignore all of the dirt and all of the details if you thought he was guilty. She didn't want to, in my opinion, address the crimes because I think Anna doesn't believe he did it. And so for her, she wants to say, I think it might be easier for Anna to look at the good picture and the good side of Josh and ignore the bad side, because then she doesn't have to live in the reality of what he's done. She could still very well be in denial. And I think when the sentencing actually comes down, it's going to be a really stark reality for her. So his defense has asked for 5 years. It's pretty ridiculous, and I doubt that's what he'll get. So that's what Anna's letter is. Next video, we're going to talk about his mom. What are your thoughts about this? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.